era are now regarded, even by mainstream historians, as being riddled with fraud and falsehoods. Before the alleged 20th century successes, many attempts were made to reach the North Pole during the 19th century, all of which failed. In 1827,
all of which failed.
Knighted British Royal Navy Rear Admiral Sir William Perry reached a record 82 degrees 45 minutes north latitude before being forced to turn back due to impassable thick ice. In 1840,
all this shit just a dramatic story, man. These are dramatic stories. These people can make up what they want to make up and become however substantial they want to be because they writing the fairy tale.
Another knighted British Royal Navy officer, Sir John Franklin, and his ill-fated two-ship, 129-man crew all died during their attempt at the pole after becoming stuck in the ice, and everyone subsequently succumbing to starvation, hypothermia, tuberculosis, lead poisoning, zinc deficiency, and/or scurvy. In 1875, yet another knighted British Royal Navy officer, in fact, the Knight Commander of the Royal Order of Bath, Admiral Sir Albert Markham, made an attempt at the pole, reaching a new record 83 degrees 20 minutes north latitude before turning back due to rampant scurvy and lack of equipment. In 1895, Norwegian explorers Fridtjof Nansen and Hjalmar Johansen made a record-breaking 86 degrees 14 minutes north attempt before turning back because of lack of food and supplies. Then in 1899, Duke of the Abruzzi, member of the Royal House of Savoy, and Italian Navy Admiral Prince Luigi,
still European. French, Italian, Swedish, still European, the same people. And they're going to report back to the United Kingdom, to the Queen. They came out and conquered in the name of patriotism. Turned you into patriots and fuck y'all around the game when they still under the rulership of the Queen.
Medio set another record, just barely beating out the Norwegians, reaching 86 degrees 34 minutes north latitude before becoming stuck in the ice and losing 2 fingers to frostbite. Finally, on September 1st, 1909, Arctic explorer Frederick Cook became the first person in modern times to claim attainment of the North Pole when he cabled from the Shetland Islands after a 15-month trek back, alleging to have reached the pole on April 21st, 1908. That day, the Evening Mail headlined, "Dr. Cook reaches North Pole," and the next day, the New York Herald headlined, "The North Pole is discovered by Dr. Frederick A. Cook, who cables to the Herald an exclusive account of how he set the American flag on the world's top." The news sent America and the rest of the world into a frenzy of media-fueled excitement, hailing Cook as a hero. Meanwhile,
the American flag wave at the North Pole, the same way that bitch wave on the moon. Let's get it.
Another Arctic explorer, U.S. Navy Admiral Robert Peary, happened to be at that very moment traveling home from his own polar expedition. Just 5 days after Cook's cable, on September 6, 1909, Peary cabled from Labrador that he too had recently, quote, nailed the American flag to the pole on April 6, 1909, a year after Cook's claim. When informed of Cook's news, Peary cabled that Cook's claim, quote, should not be taken seriously, as he just stood atop the pole and found no trace of Cook or anyone else having been there. On September 7th, the New York Herald headlined, "Robert E. Peary, after 23-year siege, reaches North Pole." But to Peary's utter disappointment, his claim to be first to the pole was not widely accepted. Peary immediately sprang into action, obtaining and cabling confessions from Cook's Eskimo guides, making the Evening Telegram headline for September.
Eskimo guides. In nuance.
8, 1909. Peary quotes Eskimos as saying Cook was not out of sight of land, and with this began a heated rivalry between two former friends and Arctic travel companions that would eventually end with both men and their polar attainment claims being completely discredited. Paul Simpson Housley wrote, "The claimed attainment of the North Pole generated enormous controversy and acrimony. Both Cook and Parry boasted that they were the first to reach the pole. Cook's North Polar Expedition, which dates from July 3, 1907 to September 21, 1909, began from Gloucester, Massachusetts, and was sponsored by John Bradley. Cook visited Etah in northwest Greenland and then proceeded north to Anoratoc. Here, he became convinced that he could reach the North Pole. Subsequently, he returned to Etah in order to prepare for the journey and solicited assistance from Inuit. They advanced again to Anoratoc and on February 19, 1908, set out for the North Pole. Cook's route took him and his men via Smith Sound to Cape Sabine to Flagler Bay. He returned to Etah in order to prepare for the...
Now look at this map. Look at the North Pole. Look at the Arctic Ocean. Look at Canada, right? So Alaska should be inside this side of Canada if Alaska is separated from Russia by the Bering Strait. On the back side of the ball, that means it'll be Russia will be on the back side of the ball. See, it don't make no sense. Alaska is part of the Arctic. That's why they try to throw it and settle it and all that dumb shit.
Journey and solicited assistance from Inuit. They advanced again to Anoratoc and on February 19, 1908, set out for the North Pole. Cook's route took him and his men via Smith Sound to Cape Sabine to Flagler Bay and then across Ellesmere Island to Bay Fjord. From there, they proceeded to Eureka Sound and established a camp at Cape Stalworthy, located at the northern extremity of Axel Heiberg Island, where most of his party remained. Cook himself set out for the pole with 2 Inuit, Awela and Etukashuk. 2 sledges.
2 Inuits, indigenous people of the Arctic. People already there too.
And 26 dogs. He insisted that he reached the North Pole on April 21, 1908. Parry's polar venture occurred between July 6, 1908 and September 21, 1909. It was sponsored by the Parry Arctic Club, and the party strived to reach the North Pole from Ellesmere Island. Parry's ships, the Roosevelt and Eric, collected 22 Inuit men and 17 Inuit women, in addition to 200...
Inuit, that means indigenous aboriginals to that landmass, to that area. The original people there before the interference of the Europeans. Come on.
46 dogs in northwest Greenland. Winter quarters were at Cape Sheridan in northeast Ellesmere Island. After arriving there on September 5, 1908, Parry transferred stores to Cape Columbia, located on the north of the island, and the selected place from which the assault on the pole was to be made. Parry's polar advance commenced in February 1909. Support parties led by Bartlett, Borup, Marvin, Macmillan, and Godsell had the task of carrying provisions, establishing a trail, and providing igloos for Parry and Henson, who were to lead the assault on the pole. The support parties turned back. The last to do so was led by Bartlett, who retreated on April 1, 1909, from latitude 87.47 north. Parry, Henson, and 4 Inuit continued their approach to the pole, which they claimed to reach on April 6, 1909. A Cook-Parry controversy resulted. On September 2, 1909, Cook, which they claimed to reach on April...
Hey, we're going to catch right back up here at this controversy with Cook and Parry, because ain't now one of them make it. And we're going to dig in on Admiral Byrd ass too. You dig? Man, flat motherfucking power, man. Yeah, that way. The truth don't need no help. It ain't gonna bend. Break no fold. I said bend.